Hello everybody, welcome to Sew Like a Pro. I was speaking to my daughter and she said that she saw this exposed zipper on a dress or a top, and so I'm going to do a video on how to do an exposed zipper. So this zipper is totally exposed on the outside, not just zipper teeth. So my husband got me this tripod. I tell you, I love you all so much that I did this video once already and I'm doing it again. I totally picked the zipper out because I reviewed it and you couldn't see my hands what I was doing. So here we go again. So after you sew the seam down the back of your dress, your skirt, your top, whatever it is, you want to clip the seam open right at the very top of that. Then we want to get the zipper pinned in to the garment. It's a good idea to pin it, but when you sew it, we usually sew 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, but we want to sew 1/8 of an inch smaller so that we do not create a pucker at the bottom of the skirt, dress, top, whatever. So we want to line them up, line it up, pin it in place. Remember, we're not sewing 5/8. I always like to finish my seam. So you can straight stitch, double straight stitch the edge, zigzag the edge, serge the edge, whatever kind of finish you want. But you do want some type of finish on the garment, on that seam allowance, so that it don't unravel. So this, I want to take the very top of this tape, turn it under, match it up at the very top. Remember, we're not sewing a 5/8 inch seam allowance. We're only going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Pin it in place. It's always best to pin it in place so things don't shift and move on you. I know how to sew, and I still pin some things, not all things, but some things. Excuse me, like the carpenters say, measure twice, cut once. So now I want to stitch it. My thread is white so you all can see. You can stitch it right next to the teeth. It's not going to hurt anything. The same way you were doing it. Really, we're doing the same thing you would do if you were sewing your zipper on the inside, but now we're flipping it and sewing it on the outside. So usually you would have right sides together. Now we're going to have wrong sides together. So think of everything you're doing in reverse. Excuse me, except for you not sewing a 5/8 inch seam allowance, you sewing a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you let it move over just a little bit so it don't create a pucker when you finish. So we want to back stitch, start just at that staple. You can sew right next to the teeth. Something is pulling on me already. So let's stop that. Isn't that good? Huh? You say, whoa, she's a pro and she got a problem right there. I think that's always good so you can see. It happens to the best of us. So here, I want to line it up again. I'm going to start a little farther in so that won't get jammed and pull on me again. And look at that, now the thread won't fray. Alright, what's going on? That kind of day, huh? Rethread it. Keep it moving. Looking good. So we don't give up. There we go. And we'll continue this all the way to the top. Leave the needle down if you can while you're going so it don't shift and move on you. So listen. I want to pull the pull down. I want to unzip it. See, I can get right past that without letting it, making it shift and move my stitches and make them go off crooked. And then I want to continue this. Now, we're going to cut the thread. And then all we would do is take the garment and flip it back toward the outside of the garment. So either side is still going to be outside. And then line it up, back stitch, and then stitch right along the edge of the zipper tape all the way down. So I'm always pull it just a little bit to make sure it's laying flat and not catching anything, any extra fabric. No little puckers. And then again, I can leave that down and I can zip that up to make sure that it don't go off. There we go. And continue. This machine do not want it. See that little thread sticking out? If I can't have time to cut it, guess what? I'm going to take it and tuck it up in there so you can't see it. That's the way we always do it. That's the way the pros do it. These are all my little extra threads. I'm going to cut those all off right now while I'm going. So we can get to the bottom so you can see what to do. Then, because I didn't sew it at 5/8, only a half an inch, an eighth of an inch less, then when I get to the bottom, all I'm going to do is continue to stitch all the way down. And I don't have a pucker because we didn't do a total 5/8 inch seam allowance. That allowed that other part to just, that little ease we created so it would lay flat. Because we turned it out. And then there's the back of our dress finished. And then I would take the other side and line it up and make sure everything was lining up and matching before I went and attached the other side of the garment. Because after all, we're trying to sew like a pro. Wrong one, this one. Line these up together, pin them in place, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So if there's any comments you have, any questions, shoot me a message and I'll get back to you ASAP. And may God bless all your sewing projects. Thank you. See you soon.